Thanks for calling.
All right, bye.
Okay, let's see. Who's been waiting a while? Okay, we're going to go for a little switch up here because someone wants to ask about something. Now, I will not defend this comment because it wasn't made by me, but John up in Maine wants to talk about the comment on Fish being the Seinfeld of improv music. This was a thing said by David Gans, meaning when he said that Fish are the Seinfeld of the jam band scene, he meant they're a band about nothing. So, once again, David Gans.
A very successful band about nothing.
Well, then again, Seinfeld ran for a lot of years, too. Anyway, so let's talk to John from Maine. And John, be kind, because I wasn't the guy who said that.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Pretty good.
I just wanted to. I know David isn't on the show this week, and that may or may not be a good thing. I don't know if he's listening, but I was just wondering if you could elaborate a little bit on why he said that.
Oh well, it's just kind of like a snarky smart-ass remark, and that's what we pay David the big bucks for. He said the reason he said Fish is the Seinfeld of jam bands is because he says Fish. You know, they always said Seinfeld is a show about nothing. So he's casting aspersions on the substance of Fish's music. He thinks their songs are kind of trite and silly, and that they don't really have like a point. You know, that's his opinion.
Which they have known to be. I know that their reputation is like that with some folks.
Right.
I also know that you saw one of the Madison Square Garden shows recently, didn't you?
I did, and it was maybe the best Fish show I've seen. You know, I've gone back to see them every tour or so. You know, I'm not a wild enthusiast for the band, but I totally respect what they do, and I love the fact that an audience digs it so much. You know, I mean, it's got a lot of aspects of the music I love best, and even if it doesn't speak to me directly, you know, total props to those guys for, you know, getting back to a place where they're happy making music together and making a lot of people happy. That's sort of my comment on it, and it doesn't have to be my music. You know, it's like it's somebody else's, and that's everybody should have their own little. Why Ari Fink just smiled like I was speaking directly to him.
Who, me?
Anyway, so yeah, you know, I've got no problem with it. You know, I've got my specific criticisms of the music, but you know, but overall, I think it's a very benign thing, and I'm glad they're out there, and I'm glad they're enduring.
Right. So I'm assuming David has seen their shows before too.
You know. David, I think maybe went to like very long ago. He may have gone to a Fish show, but he's kind of, you know, people always send him tapes and stuff. People are always like, you know, when people are crazy about a band, they really want to turn their friends onto it. So they come on, Gans, check it out. So I'm sure he's heard a lot of recorded Fish music, you know, and I don't think he's gone to a lot of shows. No.
Right. How about yourself? I know you mentioned that you've seen them a bunch, but
not a huge bunch. You know, it's like I'll go like once, you know. I mean, this was my first time since I think when Keyspan Park in Brooklyn, 2004. They did those two. I went to both those shows, enjoyed them very much. And
you must notice the big difference between 2004 and 2009 musically. No.
Well, the Keyspan shows were pretty great. You know, I mean, for that final tour, I thought those were real. You know, kind of. A lot of people agree they were kind of peak. They had Jay-Z come down.
Certainly had their moments, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there was some good stuff that happened at those shows. But yeah, right now they seem like a very rejuvenated and recharged band, and they seem healthy and happy, you know, and not burned out. So yeah, there's a difference, sure.
Right. So do you think that you would be more into them if you know, if I know you grew up with Jerry and the Dead, and that's probably the case with a lot of people, but I think with a lot of Deadheads, they may, you know, be turned off to the Fish just because the Dead was theirs at first.
No, that's not the reason for me. It's not a generational thing to me because I get turned on to new music all the time. You know, I mean, I listen to a lot of music by much newer bands than Fish that knock me out. You know, so. Yeah, it's not an either-or thing as far as like, oh, well, they're trying to usurp the Dead's turf or anything like that. You know, for me, it's just matters of there are certain directions in music that interest me, you know, and certain approaches to music, and Fish touches on those, you know, but they don't go to the places, they don't get to the emotional core that I look for in music, and that's okay. You know, like they're just about a certain, you know, they're about a certain thing, and it isn't. It's like, you know, it's like picking a vacation spot. You know, some people like the beach, some people like the desert, you know, some people like the mountains. You know, it's basically it's all personal preference, and none of those things are bad things. You know,
right?
Although if you have a morbid fear of sharks, I wouldn't recommend the beach. You know, go to the desert. You won't get bitten by a shark in the desert.
It's almost the emotion isn't as real, right?
I think what Gary's probably referring to is more lyrical than anything else. And when you're talking about Robert Hunter as a songwriter, you know, no slight to Tom Marshall or any of those guys, I just think it's a different conversation.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Fish to me is, you know, they're real. I mean, I do not by any means deny how good they are at what they do. And then you have to decide if you're into what they do, and that's like anything else. You know, like any style of art or cuisine or or anything. It's basically, and it's what makes life interesting. It's what makes conversations about creativity and art interesting. It speaks to different people in different ways, and then there's some things that don't speak to you at all. Some things that just tear your heart apart. So. You know,
definitely. I know the earlier material is definitely quirkier, but to me, their last couple albums have seemed to mature it a little bit. Is Ari from your generation, or is he more of a Fish?
No, Ari's much older than me.
I'm like 12, man.
Right, like I said, much
I
older
grew
than
up
me.
seeing Fish for sure. I never caught Jerry live.
He's a Fish kid. There's something fishy about Ari.
That's right, and nonsensical.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's, you know, I don't want to get too deep into talking about Fish because, like, some people, it really, you know, we do want to be the Grateful Dead channel, and you know, you can always you can make the comparisons and bring the Grateful Dead into the discussion, but you know,
I appreciate. I didn't want to take too much of the time. I know you didn't want to too much on this call, but I do have one thing regarding Jerry that you guys might be interested in. I have a YouTube page, and I was lucky enough to interview Carlos Santana, and he mentioned a couple of things about Jerry and Trey. I don't know if you guys want the webpage.
Cool. Oh, sure, yeah. Lay it on us, yeah.
It's youtube.com/Uncle John, JOHN. So it's Uncle John 78. If you go to YouTube and search Uncle John 78, you should be able to find my videos.
Oh, that's great. I really look forward to. I will check that out myself because I know Carlos just had such great love and reverence for Jerry, and I know he would say some beautiful and insightful things about him.
Cool. Well, enjoy that. And I want to say one other thing. I'm from Cape Cod. We're actually driving through the storm from Maine to Cape Cod right now, so just to let you know.
Well, drive carefully.
We definitely will. Thanks a lot, guys. We love the show.
Thanks for calling.
All right.
And for the Fish haters out there, I'm sorry, but the man asked, and Gans opened the can of worms, then he ran off to do a recording session, so, you know, we had to deal with it. We had to clean up his mess once again. But anyway, we love David and his mess. And you are listening to Tales from the Golden Road on the Grateful Dead channel, Sirius 32, XM 57, and my name is Gary Lambert. David Gans is off dodging questions about Fish. Ari Fink is with me in the studio, and let's take another quick musical break, shall we? This time of year always reminds me of this song because American Beauty came out late November, 39 years ago, and this is like this song and that album just speak to me of late autumn, early winter, and one of the most beautiful things ever recorded.
In the attics of my life, full of cloudy dreams unreal, full of tastes no tongue can know. You sang to me. I have spent